Marketing is a means to an end. And the end is the growth of the business in a profitable way.
We have 5 new pieces of creative. And so I said, what if we did this?
No bidding strategy is going to cure a bad business model.
Very true. This is where it's really crazy.
Live from the Ad Lab. Cooking up chaos in the performance kitchen. Welcome to the Friday Ad Lab. John Moran.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, you as well.
Long time no
Cool.
talk.
I know, right? So last week, remember the feeder strategy? We tried to test a different variation of it. It failed miserably, and we turned feeder strategy back on, and we saw the feeder strategy for our joint products went up, tried a different strategy, went down. So we said, let's go back to that strategy, turn it back on and went back up again. So I'm like, this is now a 2-top touch with this strategy actually working well. So we've deployed it in about 10 more accounts in this last week. So I'm going to have a lot more learning and use cases and all the information that we want. But every single time we've launched it within 2 days, the products that we're launching the feeder strategy on started going up like 40-50%.
Yeah.
Now we're coming out of a Black Friday lull, coming back in, so it could be a little false data. Never know, but
a little rocky.
Yeah. So that's why I want to have a lot of details, so I don't just like ride the high coming back and trick myself into thinking something's working. But we didn't participate in Black Friday, so that's what I've been doing on the main account, and so far so good. I'll have some additional strategy updates on feeder strategy. Well, actually not next week. I'm out of town, but the week afterwards. Is going to be best, or maybe we just do a Friday live on like Wednesday or something like that too.
Yeah, actually, I'm out of town next Friday too. Oh,
crap. There we go.
I just realized that.
Yeah, we can even record one on Tuesday, Wednesday, just for the Friday live, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we will.
Hopefully, I'll have some data by then.
No, might have some data. So for those of you who did not see last week's show or aren't familiar with the feeder strategy, basically this is a way for John utilizing the creative diversification strategy on Meta to feed and get those products that maybe aren't your best sellers to get fed. Like, you know, they say in like football, feed me, you know what I mean? It's like,
exactly.
You know, if you got like 5 SKUs, and in your case, like in that business that we always talk about here, it's like 5 different SKUs, basically, maybe 5 or 6, but one eats up all the spend, because that's the one, and it's the immune product, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that typically will sell the most. So how do you get food to the other ones?
Exactly.
Because they're hungry too, you know? It's like, you don't have just one kid, you got 5 or 6 kids you got to feed. So
exactly right.
So anyway, so that's pretty exciting. So you've deployed that on 10 other clients or 10 other customer accounts, and then we're going to get some data on that in the coming weeks, which is pretty freaking cool.
And we have some more that we're launching right now. So we have a whole bunch of case studies that we're going to be launching, because this thing's working so well each time we tried it. We're like, let's deploy it, multiple industries, multiple structures, and see how this works in and out. So we're going to be testing it in a massive environment. We're probably going to spend about $2 to $3 million on it next week. So I'll be able to kind of give a lot of good data in about 10 different companies. Some won't have the full week because we're going to be launching them now. But I mean, 2 are going live today. 2 went live yesterday, so it should have some good data here in the next few days. But it's cool. It's definitely working well.
You said that so fast. People are like, "What did he say?" That's $2 to $3 million in spend.
Yeah. Yep. $2 to $3 million in spend. There's a lot of money flowing through these things.
Yeah. Like these are things that were not just, let's do the $100 a day or maybe $50 a day. You know, I remember when like a lot of Facebook ads experts came on the market in 2013, 2014. They're always like, we're doing this at $10 a day. I'm like, we're doing this at like $100,000 a day. You know?
I know that's the thing, is like, if I could spend a few $1,000,000 in 10 different companies in 10 different industries, and we can kind of find consensus, then yes, it works it's worthwhile. But you all be joining this, you're kind of like seeing it live in real time as we're in the meth lab cooking up meth. It's really cool. But we'll have the more case studies. We'll do more kind of like a formal announcement of strategy updates and all that kind of stuff when it's fully solidified. But you're kind of getting the ground floor of our testing and seeing how we're doing it.
I know. But we just actually came out with a couple of videos that said we spent $7.8 million of our own money. Well, mostly your money. It's probably way over that now. How much has it been? Like you spend on this Andromeda update stuff?
Andromeda, we spent $5 million so far in just my own personal brand.
Right.
There's another company that's spending in Andromeda $250,000 a day, and that's been going on for about 8 months.
Okay. So it's
there's a lot of money.
Over. Like it's 10.
But I think it's like
15,
50
20.
million
Yeah,
in just that one.
50
Yeah.
million.
Yeah. It's insane.
All right. I'm gonna have to update my videos then. All right. That's good. All right. Well, today we have got some pretty cool stuff happening on something we've never talked about. And I can't remember the last time I talked about this over on Perpetual Traffic. If you don't watch our podcast, by the way, it's pretty good too. We repurpose a lot of these. I think the one that dropped today was actually you and me from last week because I thought it was so cool. The point is this, is that we haven't talked about the secondary metrics with creative diversification, which gives you even better insight into how to diagnose when it doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a client you and I both know and love, cherish, adore so much. Great. That's for quite some time. The point is we figured something out with one of these secondary metrics that was baffling their team, and we're going to reveal that today.
Yep. And now what's interesting about this is I'm just setting up the columns for the presentation here. But one of the things that we haven't really talked about a lot is the engagement of ads and how they are actually affecting the Andromeda engine. Most people, and I keep hearing this over and over and over again, and I'll probably hear this for the next 5 years just because people have been using those metrics as the barometer for the last 10 years, which is this ad isn't performing, or it doesn't look like this ad is working, or we have some poor performance in the account in this campaign. I've been on the hunt for like the last 2 weeks, and I found out that like my IQ is high, but like I can't remember if I put on socks today. I have a really good pattern recognition. That's what someone told me. They're like, you're not like the sharpest tool in the box, but you pick up on patterns immediately. I'm like, holy crap, you're right. Like, I get that now.
Thanks for the backhanded compliment. Yeah. You're not the sharpest tool in the box, right?
I'm like a low C high school student, like a C minus.
You're like a dull Phillips head screwdriver.
Yeah, like paying kids for their homework and cheating. I got like a C. I don't know how that happened.
Hey, my kids think I got a 3.5 all the way through high school and college.
I got really good turning like C's into B's. You just connect the other hump and boom.
Right, that's what whiteout is for.
Exactly. The report card was never real. But this is actually something that I've been on the hunt with because it's actually kind of another revolutionary aha moment that we've discovered for ourselves. So to tell you where we're going, we have to tell you where we've been one more time with a small amount of iterations, just because I still get a lot of questions and this stuff is hard. So it's easy to kind of just go through a little bit of a review, because now I kicked myself when I was like, of course, idiot. Like, of course that was the thing. So what we're going to be discussing today is the sequencing. What sequencing means is this is kind of a bad graph here. And I think that's probably, I'm going to take that bad graph and I'm going to make it 10 times worse because I'm going to make my own. But sequencing, I like
here, the animated version on that page a little bit better anyway, but
very true. Very true.
I like your drawings.
I like my drawings too. They're fun.
Yeah. Those look like a bunch of ads. Wow.
Yep. And actually what's funny is Sashworth 443 just said, I've had a few Andromeda campaigns fall off a cliff this week after 1 to 4 weeks of performance in KPI. So this is something that we noticed, and this is something that everyone notices due to the fact that it's simply the fact that our media teams are disconnected from user engagement / media buying for the most part. And I don't say me and us, I just mean like the industry as a whole. More companies I talk to, it's like, what is your concept? What's your go-to-market plan for our new launch? Like, I don't know. The creative team's got some cool shit that they're going to send my way. It's like it is creative only now. So your targeting begins at storyboarding. Right. Because what Meta is going to do is they identify an ad that works well, and then they lock into that ad. Like, this is the ad that's going to work well. And I'm like, well, how does Meta choose? Everyone thought it was CPA or CTR. It's actually not. We found the strongest signal that Meta uses to identify what is going to work. And that's where the pattern recognition that I was practicing this last week. Yeah. It is something that it says, okay, this ad is special to me. And I'm going to take this ad and I'm going to move it over here. And this ad becomes 1. Now the sequencing then says, okay, now I have to use all of these other ads here, whatever is left over. And now I have to build a sequence, which means which one now becomes, this one's 1 is locked in. This is standard. Now, which one becomes, 2, which one becomes maybe 3, which one becomes maybe 4 and maybe 5 and maybe 6. Now, this doesn't all happen at once. It's not like it shifts spends around. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't shift spend around the main ad here. It doesn't really do that. So I had a sneeze. Yeah. But what we found out is that it usually takes ad number 1, pins it to the top, spends the most amount of money on it. Yeah. And then it's going through and saying, okay, let's try this. What about this ad to this ad? Okay. What about this ad to this ad? That didn't work. Okay. So we're going to go back to that one. What about this ad to this ad? That also didn't work. So we're going to go back to this one. What about this ad to this ad? Okay. That's working. Well, how about this ad to this ad? Okay. That also works too. So maybe this one is now going to start to grow and spend a little bit. So the sequencing is not just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 1 to 3, 1 to 2 to 3. 1, 3, 4 to 2. Like, it's basically trying to identify a storyboard. Hi, I'm Bob. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Do you want to get some coffee with me? That sequence didn't work. Didn't make sense to people. He said hi, then bye, then you invited him to something. That's not going to work. What about hi, my name is John. Would you like to get some coffee? See you tomorrow. Okay, that worked. That narrative makes sense now to the users. So we have to look at our creative, and the SOP that we created, which we've shared here before, that goes through the Andromeda model, showcases how you design your concepts, your hooking, your offers, your nomenclatures, and your testings for a cohesive, congruent narrative, because it's going to be used that way. So we don't want to have 2 different sales pitches smashed together and say, let AI figure it out, or the people will get it. Like, that's just being lazy. That's letting your media team dictate your entire performance of your company now.
Right.
So what we found out is that inside of this hierarchical model of the ad sequence refinement, there is something that is like a make or break week 1. And it actually is hook rate. And we've tested this a whole bunch. We've tested this a ton. So I'm going to showcase just 2 campaigns. I'm looking at the 2 campaigns selected. I'm not going to share the entire account, but there's 2 campaigns selected that I wanted to kind of showcase that actually started in the time period of November 9th, and it kind of lulled. It didn't really do that great. So November 9th all the way to December 4th, we've had a kind of a crappy hook rate, 23 and 23. They're about equal.
What is hook rate, John?
Oh, okay. Got it. Hook rate.
Some people do not know.
All of your impressions divided by people who watched at least 3 seconds. Very simplistic. So someone that sees an ad that scrolls by and says, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, like it starts counting basically. And it's like, okay, well, after 3 seconds.
Think about this.
Yeah. So it's funny. It's like, what's funny is you can stop on it and then it starts counting. And then if you scroll past before 3 seconds, you're not hooked.
You're not hooked.
Yep. And if it's after 3 seconds, you're hooked.
And so all your impressions.
Exactly. All of your impressions divided by people who stop for at least 3 seconds. Are you hooking them? Are you capturing their attention?
Because it's impressions, it could be the same person twice. So
absolutely.
There is that. Absolutely. So it's giving you an indication that something is interesting them within the first 3 seconds.
Now, to overcomplicate this metric, it does dedupe by time frame. So if you have a hook rate of 25 and there's 2 people in there, and then if you shorten that and there's only 1 person, it will actually dedupe those people. So it's like it's a dynamic metric based on the time range. It's like frequency. How many people see this ad on average every 7 days to every day? Well, that's 1 a day, but you can have 1 a day every day. So 1 equals 7 on a weekly time period. It dedupes that way. So it will dance around a little bit, but we try to find the law of averages. Now, Meta states that anything above like a 35 to 40% hook rate is considered good to all the way up to excellent at when it reaches 50%. That's like tippy top tier, 50%. Yep. So when you're looking at this and say, okay, well, the hook rate is 23%, and this is essentially, that's all this is. It's, this is a custom column because it doesn't exist. The way that you have to kind of find this is go like ad by ad of a video ad, at least. This is not a video ad. I don't know why that one is, but the video ads here and say, what's our hook rate? 22%. Okay. And what's funny about this is you can actually see your most important time period is between seconds 2 and 8. Those are your most important time to hook a person, is between seconds 2 and 8. Why? Well, it might take my thumb a second to stop and start to like comprehend what's going on. That takes about a second. Stop 1001. Okay. Now at the 2-second mark, all the way out to the 8-second mark, if they say, I'm not really interested and they leave, you can have a fantastic hook rate, but your hold rate sucks. People are just not staying engaged. Right. So if you're like, I'm hooking 1 out of 5, yes. But then they fall off like 4 out of 5 immediately. Okay, This is not hooking as many people as we need, and they're not staying as long as we like them to stay. So
hook and hold.
Exactly right. Now, the bad part about this is, though, is that is going to dictate your, let me just go just to one right now. That is going to dictate what the majority of your users are starting on. So as an example, there was 2 different trailers here, and these trailers were sucking up about 33,000 of the 50K, and there's 32 ads.
We are trying to find that ad in your previous diagram with your MS Paint. You're trying to find that one ad that starts the process.
Yeah.
And if all of them are in the 20s, like Meta is confused. It keeps cycling around. It's not getting anything. And I put the benchmarks in the chat for you guys, just so you know, like these are straight from Meta, and these are very much in alignment with what we're seeing right now as far as percentages, which is amazing. Actually, we're actually listening to what Meta is telling us.
Yeah,
it's kind of a crazy thing.
Yep.
So anyway, so this stuff is super, super important.
Exactly. Average meta ad hook rate, generally falls between 20 and 30. 20 to 25 is considered average to decent. Rates hitting above 30 indicates strong, and like 35 to 50. So it's like, okay, 20 to 30 is kind of like, considered decent between 20 and 25. And we're between 20 and 25. And what was happening? We were getting decent results. It wasn't going to scale. Yeah. We've added a little bit of ad spend. It just no one else comes in. Like these things are not hitting it. But this is the thing that I think is super important for people to figure out.
Back in the day, though, people would say, oh, I need to change my targeting because I don't have the right targeting. Right. But in this case, you've got DMAs, you've got individual regions, no targeting.
Right. And now you can still change your targeting. It's just done at the creative level, which is beautiful. Like it's all now back to what is actually happening. So as we look at this here,
is your dog back to chew the other earphones that you have?
Oh God, my ears are killing me. These things are like freaking like nails in my ears. So to everyone out there that's probably, I look slightly different if you've been watching the show for a while. My dog ate my headphones. So
like a bathroom break, and the dog like ate them.
Literally, I come back and I'm like, where's my headphones? And it's out in the living room, and he's just got like 2 foam pads in his mouth, just destroyed. I'm like, it was a 70-pound German Shepherd puppy, and I was gone for a grand total of 2 minutes. So he just destroyed him.
John Moran's dog strikes again.
There he goes. But so check this out. Okay. There's a weighted hierarchy here. And so the weighted hierarchy here is there's 34,000 out of the 50,000 that have come from these 2 trailers. Well, what do we know about Andromeda? Andromeda is going to start everybody in ad number 1 that it picked. And it says, hey, because these ads are basically the same ads, just kind of spliced together a little bit differently, that became 70% of where my users started. So if you think of this like the front door to your store, and you got 1 million people out there, and you spent $1 million to get all those 1 million people out there, and you grab your doors, and you go, okay, squeeze on through. You opened it up a little bit, and only a few are coming in because people all of a sudden they see the front door, like that was the front door. I didn't even recognize it. It didn't hook me as a door. Yeah, basically is the thought process that we want to think about it. So we open the door, and then we say, cool, we didn't let anybody interesting in. But then we're spending all of the rest of our amount of our money in these sequencings that they're trying to find the next best set of ads to use with the ads that aren't really working too well. Holy crap. So if you start off with the wrong ad having the most ad spend, the campaign set you up for failure by saying we chose the mediocre ad to start with, and then everything else is going to be remarketed.
Yeah. Although I see some emerging trends on some of the other ones that could bear some possible performance improvements later on.
Yep. And what you kind of see too is like the higher the hook rate, the better the performance. You kind of notice a little bit like
that's what I'm looking at.
16 and 650, but then doubled. Like, okay,
but look at that.
We're starting to see some things.
33 and 129. Like I know they want about a 200 thereabouts, 150, 200. So you're onto something there.
So I said, okay, we can't use these 2 ads anymore. They're just not going to work. I said, it really looks like these ads are fatigued. Now, I almost forgot something else that we noticed. All right. Frequency distribution is almost capped now. So what's interesting about this, the reason why the sequencing works is because when you have majority of your ad spend starting the people on these 2 ads, and they say, okay, I'm only going to go up to like not even above a 2. I'll remarket them harder at a 2, but I won't start and just say, hey, you're going to see 3 of the same ads. Yeah. So once these burn, it's up to everything else to pick it up, and it can pick it up and get better. But then you're basically like having a loss leader as your billboard. It's like spend all the money on the wrong ad. The people that say, I know it's probably not that bad, I still want to know more. Those people are going to be great. Okay. Well, we just put the cart before the horse. So we start off on the wrong foot and nothing happens. We can't open the door. No one comes in. So let's pause there and see.
I can't help but notice those ads are paused right now.
Yeah. So exactly right. On the 5th, or on the 4th, we paused those ads on both of these campaigns. Actually, we paused pause those ads. And I said, hey, is there anything else you got? I need new ads. We need to breathe new lifeblood into this campaign. These two ads are not working. We're leading the charge with the mediocre. And we're spending 60% of our money on the mediocre, says Meta's users, and they're our boss.
And this is a client that supplies the creative to you. We don't do the creative diversification on our end, which is fine. Yep. But you're like, all right, what else you got? And also you asked one of their smarter media buyers, like, how long have these been running?
Yeah. So she was saying that they were fatiguing 2 years ago, or they were fatigued 2 years ago. They were still fatigued last year. And I said, we definitely want to swap this creative out for sure. Like that is going to be a good indicator. Like if we already know they're fatigued, I still think that, yes, it was the best ads that they had at the time for sure. They were. And
we did crappy ads 2 years ago, even before Andromeda, are still crappy ads today.
Yeah.
Or mediocre ads. Like not terrible.
And I understand where they're coming from because this particular client runs shows in like spurts in cities. So it's almost like, hey, the ads that worked well for Spirit Store last year, they'll probably work again this year because you're running them in 30-day blips.
Right.
I get the process there. Right. The problem is they didn't work fantastic back then. And now it's even more important that they have to work fantastic.
Right. You got to work harder on the creative.
Exactly. So we swap it out for something else. Now I'm going to update as you can see the results, but I'm going to update the ads. So we now have replaced the top 2 ads with new ads. And what's interesting about this is both our hook rates went up about 30% on average, 27 and 37, but they vary between 5 percentiles per day, but they went up basically 33%.
It's fabulous.
That brought our cost per result down 37% on new customers, which in then tandem helped us increase our frequency because now those ads can be shown more often because they have a better hook rate. And the results now are 76% more new customers and 83% more new customers at a cost that is 35 and 40% cheaper. And all we did is I'll grab that LA campaign again. And if I turn off the segmentation so that I can sort descending by spend, what you'll see here is these are no longer running and these ads are here. Now, remember, we went from like a 22, 21% hook rate. And now we're looking at this one and says, okay, that's a 36% hook rate. So now the best performing ad, the one that is spending at least a third of the budget, has a very, very good hook rate. The one below it has an 18, fairly poor. This one is probably gonna be removed. It doesn't need a good hook rate right now because all of these users are being remarketed by that person. I think this one is just an image. Right. So this one here is now a 40% hook rate. The next video. Okay, good. So now when we see our average hook rate start to improve, and then these are like the one that's running here is now like a 57% hook rate that's starting to have some spend on it as well. I'm like, yay. Nice. The hold rate's kind of poor. But what the main trend is when we start everybody off, or not everybody, when we're starting the large majority of users in our pixel, in our campaign, in our targeting off of the 35% hook rate, we can sort of see that the hook rate now also dictates the better performance later on. Now, they're not all susceptible to this exact metric because it is last click attribution. But one thing to note, one thing that we found out that is actually a pretty good barometer of good performance is if your ad set CPA is lower than your main ad spend, good. This is good.
Yeah.
If 411, I don't care if that's 411. I want this to be down $100, and that's what it did. Yeah. So we can actually see that, compare the previous week to this time period here, our cost per result is down 33%. So 412 down to 274, even though people would say, yes, but that main ad is getting what the bad performance used to be. Do you see how that doesn't matter? CPA does not matter by the ad. It's a trend. Yep. And if I can have a good hook rate, everything else is last click. Maybe everyone clicked there and no one clicked there, but that ad was maybe better at converting everybody. We can't tell. But the main ad is bringing them in for more expensive than the remarketing is. That's warming up and converting them good. Open the front door. Everybody comes in. You can't let people in that are buyers because they haven't been in yet. That's ad number 1.
Right.
But all of the people helping them as they shop should give them a better experience until they go to this front and then check out. These are all of your employees saying, find everything okay? May I help you with something? it's actually just additional salespeople popping out and saying, that's great, you should buy it. Like that's how these things are working.
Right.
So when we look at the hook and hold rates, those hook and hold rates, if we start our users off on a very, very elevated experience, but we have to make sure that the concept hook and offers are also very consistent and congruent. So we don't have the hi, my name's John, see you later, want to have coffee type of scenarios. Then we can say, okay, everyone is being told this message first. Ralph, did you know that of 32 ads, the first thing that they see is, would you like to buy a cup of coffee with me? That's ad number one. You say, okay, I understand the concept. People want to meet for coffee. Good. What's the next thing that we're going to say? Probably, where should we go? When should we do it? Needs to be the same next logical sequence in the steps of a sale for this to remain congruent in their mind. Again, these people are halfway paying attention, driving down the highway at 70 miles an hour, 2 kids screaming in the car. We have to make this very consistent, beat them to death with the same messaging. We cannot take 10 pieces of spaghetti. Wally fat people. You can't take 10 things, throw it against the wall and cross your fingers. Your story sucks. I'll stop there, see if there's any questions.
Well, first off, it's impressive because, I mean, first off, we haven't talked about hook rate in a long time. And I think it's a secondary metric that I think from a creative standpoint, it was always something that pure creatives would love to see, but it didn't necessarily equate to performance. So I remember running a lot of ads pre-hook rate, and they would get a ton of engagement, but they wouldn't actually lead to anything after the fact. But they were all pretty much the same.
Yep.
So we used to run flashlight campaigns. Remember those flashlights that everyone was selling like back 7-8 years ago? That was me and Molly Pittman. We spent like $2 million a month on that, by the way. The point was, is so like we did some ads that were like the American flag, like we wanted to make like an American hook on it. Everyone was engaging with it. Great. Nobody bought. So we had retargeting ads, but they weren't really all that good. And there was nothing like this. The algorithm wasn't as smart as it nearly is today. The point is that looking at these secondary metrics, like there is a definite correlation. You said this, you flunked 5th grade math, but you're good at correlation. Like this is it right here. Yeah. The question I have for you is, where's the sweet spot for, because I noticed like the hold rate ain't so good on some of these. Like they're hooking them in, getting them interested, and obviously performance is up. When you see hold rate going up, you see conversions going up, you see NCAC going down. Like that's a nice formula. If you got them to hold longer, what's your sense? What are you seeing in some of the other accounts now that you've sort of discovered this correlation here?
Yeah, I think what we're going to be doing is we haven't had a client yet that we've launched Andromeda with a perfect framework. That actually seems to be fairly difficult for a lot of clients.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, go from years of grab 10 ads, see what one works, and then crank it up. Like now it has to be almost brought back to like a go-to-market strategy for a business.
Yeah.
Like you now have to produce your marketing in infomercial styles. You have 1 hour, but there's commercial breaks. And that 1 hour has 5 different segments. Well, how do you storyboard 5 segments? Well, it has to be a congruent narrative. That's how you have to create your copy now. That's how you have to create your creative and your copy now, which is almost writing it like an infomercial. That part seems to be fairly difficult for a lot of companies to understand by saying, what is the concept that we're going to test? We've done it once. Actually, I'm lying. We have done it once. Well, that's the company that does the prerequisites, the one that we're always showcasing.
Yep.
But that one is again, the results speak for themselves kind of thing. Just as a quick example for everyone out there, this is not something that we kind of wing, but it's actually quite interesting. We launched these campaigns with this concept hooks and offers back in September 7th, if I remember correctly. So if we go back to September 7th, this is when we said, hey, let's take, we have spent $500,000 on this. So it's not a small amount of ad spend, but on September 7th to now, compared to previous period, I accidentally clicked a button there. We have went from $400,000 to $500,000. So we did add $100,000 in spend. Now, what's interesting about this whole thing, though, is this is the time period that we started this concept hook and offer. And I think this is also why companies get a little bit perturbed when we start to move towards these models. It's very uncomfortable. This is the time period on the 37th week of this year that we started this model. Now, when we compare year-over-year metrics all the way back to December 29th of 2024, the average growth per week was 5.51%. Since switching over to this model, the average growth per week has been 28.81%. So this is now 600% increase in new customer growth in the last 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Now, what's nice about this is the 2025 totals, we've already put, $1.17 million of new customer revenue, and that's scaling, and it's only cost us $100,000 more. Like it is absolutely moving the needle. But if we look inside the platform, it looks like these people are like, oh, there's $269 cost per customer. And no, it's actually $893. So we can't trust the in-platform metrics. But what we did differently here that no one actually has yet is we said, who is our target audience? We want females who are looking to go back to college that are usually workers or mothers or, that type of demographic. 30 to 40 female working mothers is who we're trying to attract. What are you trying to attract them with? Do you want to go back to nursing school, but you haven't yet, and you need to get your prerequisites done? Okay, that's a pretty niche down target. But now you'll see this is all our healthcare offers. We have 90 UGCs, testimonials, product demos. We did everything about healthcare, and we did it for primarily nurses. So this is like the nursing offer. All of these here are a very consistent, congruent message. We spent $500,000 on it in one direction. You can see here, these nomenclatures are very, very well refined. This is, all of our campaigns, but we also iterate the process where what's working gets iterated, number 1, number 2, number 3, and we get 55 million impressions or 5.5 million impressions on it for only $112,000. Like it is a concerted effort. That can grow a company 30% starting week 2. That's what happened. And it's been staying up there. Yeah. This is a jump between creative team saying, hey, this is, some cool stuff. And media buyers like, all right, cool, I'll test it. This is pre-media buyer. This is pre-traffic. This is pre-creative. This is storyboarding at the marketing level of the company, not the agency. You don't want to go to an agency and say, build my business for me. Yeah. No, they drive traffic with creative. Before you drive traffic with creative, you need to know what that creative is and what is your go-to-market plan, and in a very cohesive, conceptual manner that people can understand. You package that, and you deliver it, and you measure that concept. Right. It's not just throwing spaghetti against the wall and say, why isn't it sticking? That's 5 years ago. Right. So that was a part that I think it is very important that we understand. Yes, it's hook rate. Yes, it's hold rate. But it doesn't mean that hook and hold rate, that ad sucks. Your concept may suck. Do you ever think about like maybe people don't really want that? So it's maybe not even that ad. Right. Like, hey, maybe your concept and your hook is not landing because that's the wrong angle. If I was going after 99-year-old men that want to become surfboarders, I'm probably going to fail.
Well, I think we actually say this in our little sizzle reel before we start. It's like no creative diversification strategy is ever going to cure a bad business model.
Exactly right.
Or a business model that nobody wants. 90-year-old surfers, not exactly a large total addressable market, but go for it, man. If you want to have a, $100,000 business, maybe, and that really can't, unless you're in like Australia or something like that. But the point is it all does come back to that. So what you're saying is hold rate in that 10% range is like a tertiary metric. It's not even like a secondary metric. You're really finding its hook rate more so than anything right now. And it's definitely correlative. Like we're seeing it right now. I think you have another example of this with another client before we get into Q&A here, which we definitely do need to get to. Where
this is so fun.
Where we saw kind of the same thing. And this is in the process of scaling. And this one, as you're setting up here, like went from $75 a day, and then you're scaling up to 100, 200, like you're now at 200, if I'm not mistaken. And then they run out of product every now and then. So there's that. But there's 15, 20, 25 SKUs in a very large market, an almost infinite scale with all of this stuff working. And hook rate was one of the things that you noticed, as I recall.
Yep, that's exactly right. What's interesting about this is everyone knows me as a person that does not really care what the in-platform metrics look like. And I keep proving that time and time again. Yeah. It's hard to manage a campaign without knowing what the campaign tells you as conversions, but we're building businesses. We're not just listening to Meta. That's why this gets harder. So when you look at this here, this is a campaign that we've been running for the last 30 days. Now, I measure everything by NCAC, so we are scaling. We're going up 50% this month. Again, brand new business, no existing customers that much, no real brand awareness. I mean, it is fairly in its infancy stage. So that's why we're trying to find our footing. Right.
But a really solid product. Like we both analyzed this one. We're like, they've got something here. They might not have the great business model quite yet, but that's okay. And, like putting the cart before the horse a little bit here from a brand standpoint, but the product is really, really good.
Exactly right. And what's funny about this is like, it's basically like, I'm trying to get under $25 new customers. That's my goal. I want to get under 100. Want to get under $25 new customers. And the new campaign that I've launched, and then we've also like pushed more ad spend in than we did before. And there you go. We're scaling it up right now, kind of thing. If we spent 48% more now, it doesn't say that it's working really well. It's like, hey, got 15 sales this month and $128 new customer. Like, oh God, that's horrible. But what's funny about this is I'm like, these metrics can't be right because I'm scaling this company based off NCAC. So as we look inside of the last 30 days and we have, $128 NCAC and only 15 sales, but I'm like, well, I don't really care. I've scaled it up 50%. So this should work. I can't tell why, but I know it's working besides the fact that conversion value is wrong. The top line in the last 30 days over the previous 30 days, as an example, as a decent, this is the online store. They do have some marketplace stuff, but the online store is up 81%. Top line's up 152%. Return customer rate is down to 5%. It went down 65% because these are all new. And we are having 86% more sessions and 11% better conversion rate. Every single thing is green. I mean, green across the board. Our branded search is up 100% because Facebook's up 111. So my Facebook Andromeda campaigns doubled Google. The people that don't know MMM out there are going to be surprised, but the people that know MMM is like, well, yeah, of course, that makes sense. That's why we push here. Sure. So all of these look fine. So I'm looking at actual top line performance, and then I just hit the gas and scale at 50% more ad spend. So good performance, spend more. Good performance, spend more. Running at a quick, let's just double check my math here for a half a second. I know we have to do some Q&A, but this is actually pretty important because this is what people do not do still. And I do want to kind of drive this home again. Yes. In the last 30 days, we have 142 new customers. We spent 2,495. Well, 2,495 divided by 142 gives us a $17.57 NCAC. That is really freaking cheap. We're trying to get under 25. It's actually 17. Meta says it's 128. Well, what the hell is going on here? Nothing's making sense in your crazy upside down world, John. And that's because it's not actually about the conversions. But if you look at here, if I go into the column and if I go, well, actually, you know what? If I go into here and go into customize columns and then grab my, oh no, I don't have a custom metric. Let's just do it real quick. Let's just do a custom metric, which is the impressions, impressions divided by 3 second video plays.
Oh, you don't have hook rate on this one?
No, not on this one. I don't know why. Oh, say hook rate. Sorry. Let me just do hook rate, create metric. Let's add that. So our hook rate here, well, that didn't work. Let me just go individual. I don't know why that didn't work, but watch this. If we look at our spend descending, sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought we saw it before when we were like doing this.
It was in the other account.
Oh, okay.
I must have just messed up the metric, but let's just do it in real time. So this is 1,200 of the 1,900s. Let's do this. I had to pause this one because we're out of stock. So I'm breaking my rule because I can't sell it. Long story short, this one has a 38% hook rate. And then this one has a 43% hook rate. And then this one has a 59% hook rate that's having spend spike up now. This one has a 67% hook rate. So this one also has a 56% hook rate. So we're looking like 40s and 50s and sometimes 60s average hook rate. So when you're looking at 40, 50, 60 average hook rate, we are literally in top campaigns can hit 40 and 50 plus. So what does it say? Your ads, fantastic. People that see them, love them. Every single one they see after that, love them. Your conversion rate is scaling way past your increase in sessions. Keep scaling to the moon. What's off? CPA doesn't know what the hell is going on, but that doesn't matter in real life. People are not like, damn, I would have bought that cleaning, but it would have shown up as a conversion. Guess I can't buy it. No one thinks like that. They don't care. Yeah. So because I have good spend on good ads to good people and I can measure top line, the in-platform metrics are obviously just keeping it cold with the few that they can identify, but that's why that company scaled 150% in 30 days. Yeah. This is what matters.
This is the stuff that matters. Is it metrics that matter and growth that scales?
Hey, look at that.
Hey, look at that. Well, before
like
we
we
get to
practice what we
questions,
preach.
we are practicing what we preach. And of course, today's episode is sponsored by Tier 11, where you can get the Creative Diversification Package. You buy it, we do all this stuff for you. And then you get the media buying plus the way to track it through Tier 11 Data Suite for free. I believe there's one left. One package left right now. So
That's awesome.
Gone through all of them. Then we're going to reprice this obviously in 2027 because I don't think we're making any money off it net profitability wise, but that's okay. You guys have been here for a long time, and we've got to pay for the show because me and John's salary is really high, so I got to pay for him.
Yes.
The point is,
I have a bad cocaine addiction.
He does that, and a couple of bangs every single day. He's got to buy new headphones because his dog ate them. Like, he's in a tough spot.
He owes me a Christmas present.
He does. All right. So head on over to tier11.com/CD, grab that creative diversification package, and leverage all the stuff that we're talking about here. Let's get to questions.
Yeah.
Hook rate. This is a great episode, by the way. I think this is going to be a
right?
perpetual traffic soon. All right. I will rip through these. Brian says, great content. Do you import FB clids via CAPI if older than Meta's 7-day allowed window for bidding optimization? Any issues on companies where 75% of edge tagged first clicks are older than 7 days? This guy is very technical. Wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
So yes, we actually upload everything because Meta's 7-day allowed window for bidding optimization is not actually true. It really isn't. That's why they also can give you a 28-day click. Like, it still tracks everything. It's just going to be optimized towards the last 7 days. However, when we upload the first click CAPI import, what Meta has to do is identify the path and then attribute it to the last click. If we don't send in the first click, no matter how long ago, before it reattributes it down to the last click to show, that's why your 7-day rule doesn't really matter, is because it has to convert from first click import to last click attributed. That entire path keeps the engine understanding at what we're feeding it as a conversion. It says, whoa, the brand campaign did super well today. No, remember it came from standard shopping. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Like, it's basically, that's how we keep the engine repeatable. So if you were looking at not retraining a model, then yeah, you can kind of, just use the in-platform metrics, but know that the way that we import is to retrain a model so that it can see the entire path when it goes through and attributes it to last, so that they can keep repeating the first actions. Any issue with company 75% edge tag first click? Oh, not at all. No, I mean, you're backdating it, so it's going to go back like 12 years. You're okay.
Good there. Ollie Leeboy says, I assume that's Ollie Leeboy.
Hey, Ollie. Yeah, what's funny is his name is Ollie Leeboy, but I always just call him Ollie, my boy. I don't know why.
Ollie, my boy.
He's like my elder, but it's okay. Only by like 6 months.
That's right. Oh, really? He's 6 months older than you?
No, he's like 13 years older. I just wink because I didn't want to make him feel old.
He looks younger, actually.
He does. I told him, I'm like, I look older than he does.
It's because he's like always in Spain or someplace, some beautiful.
Dude, Ollie, you like sign in from like the beach in Barcelona. You're like, I'm working. I'm like, oh, shut up.
I know. That's his life. All right. Let's hi on Keto, Steven Sunderland, and Sasha.
Hey,
Sashworth, how you guys doing? Thanks for joining. Stefan has a question. Hey guys, did you test the feeder strategy on more SKUs in the fashion space?
Yes. So not many people know this. I'm a large equity shareholder in a fashion only VC group.
Yeah.
And I have 15 very, very large fashion brands, very well known, publicly traded. 3 of them are in every mall in the United States. And yes, we are testing that actually this week. That's the ones that are going live. I'll just give you an example. I can't tell you the name, but right now we have an all traffic campaign, and our 2 feeders are sweaters and knits and dresses. Those are going to be feeding into it. So the results of that I will be sharing. I just can't screen share because that's from a different organization that I don't have permission to share. But yes, it is being heavily tested. It's actually the most tested is in the fashion industry. And that's one of the reasons is video hook rates are always better than images. So sorry, Ralph, this is super important. No. Video hook rates will overtake the best click-through rates of images. Video takes priority in spend levels. This is what we're seeing. This is something that I'll be able to share next week when I have more data, because it's only like 3 use cases. But I have like 10 statics, 2 videos, sort descending by spend, 2 videos are at the top, great hook rate. Aha. So if you're in fashion is very static. A lot of images and posing and that kind of stuff. It's hard to get like an influencer to be like an elevated fashion brand. Think of like Louis Vuitton. You don't want to have an influencer be like, hey, I just got this in the mail. Like, it's the wrong type of type of creative. So, but you have to do video, and that's been the challenge that we've been overcoming.
Yeah, I can't imagine it not working, I guess really is the question here.
Right.
But all right, we got please simple wording for new media buyers so we can instant Thanks, amazing.
In the beginning, we were making fun of like, we're just gonna keep this like dumbed down, that kind of stuff. And that's when that person made that joke, and I just started cracking up because the timing was beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, we try to I try to translate John, but he goes so fast.
I know.
Sort of like, all right, so at least we know what hook rate and you know, stay rate and all that other sort of stuff, and John rate and dog rate, hold rate.
Apparently, I have a kinetic. They call it kinetic personality. If I find something that I push on, it moves. I just push on it really hard.
Yeah, it keeps pushing. A
Yeah.
lot of electricity comes out of his fingernails. Right. We will try and do that as much as possible. By the way, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. All right. High on Ketone says, "Hey guys, quick question. I love it.
That's amazing.
On a fairly new account that's performing quite well and low spend, $200, $500 a day. What do you see as the easiest way to scale budget fast?
Add a zero. Next." I'm just kidding. So honestly, what I would do is 2 steps. Identify your sales cycle, and you can use Google Ads brand campaign and non-brand campaign. The average of those 2 will be about your sales cycle. When you're looking at your days to conversions and from an impression point of view, that's one way. We've already showcased that a few times on this call. So that's on this live. So check that. That is a good way to identify your sales cycle. Whatever your sales cycle is, only make 1 ad spend increase for the entirety of that sales cycle. So if it's 3 days, increase your ad spend, let's say 25%, wait 3 days. If your CPA is normalized, then you have a 3-day sales cycle. But after 3 days, you saw it was spiked up and it's starting to come back down. However long it takes to come back down is going to be your sales cycle. This is, of course, if you can scale. If everything else that we've discussed for last year is all working well. I can't just be like, shit, ad scale it. Just wait. It'll get better. No, it won't. If things are actually working well, it will get better. But the time period of when you dump ad spend, you see your CPA up and come back down, that process, you have to do that every 7 or 10 days or 3 days. Don't outpace your sales cycle, because then the CPA will never come down. That's just how I scale. So if I have a 150 NCAC, crank it up 25%, 150 goes to 190. See it kind of come back down, and then we're like, okay, do it again. Like, we're basically just piling on cold traffic that's expensive. When they start to buy, your CPA comes down. Very simplistic.
Makes sense. But also, having said that, like in the company that we use in the cleaning space, you did start at $75 a day.
Yeah.
And start scaling slowly. So it's like you can do it just on Meta Andromeda alone, as long as you've got some creative diversification. You had an incomplete package back at that point in time. And I mean, we're getting more and more, obviously, but it is possible.
It was a little stuttered on that one just because it was like, we launched and then we had to get the Cappy import. So we had to relaunch, but then we had a lot more creative come in and the other creative was still being held because of hook rates. So we had to relaunch again. So we relaunched twice, but now it's scaling. But that was just, neither here nor there. That's just business.
Yeah. But for Meta Andromeda, like you're basically starting, you can start with creative diversification at a lower spend under $100 a day.
Absolutely. Yeah. The rate of scale, you just don't want to outpace your sales cycle. And then other than that, that's it. Just don't outpace your sales cycle and you can keep going.
Got it. Hey, slow down, John. Too much meth today, I think. All right.
I started eating the blue.
The blue
meth,
chips. What was that stuff called again?
Blue sky.
Blue sky. It's the Heisenberg. It's the good stuff. All right. Sashworth has this question. I've had a few Andromeda campaigns fall off a cliff. Yeah, she said this earlier, or he said this earlier. Sorry. 1 to 4 weeks of performance on KPI, like 18 CPL to 150 for more than 1 day in a row. I turn them off or am duping. That might be like a Black Friday hangover potentially. What do you think?
Yeah, so here's what I couldn't tell you, because I only use first click Cappy imports, so that nothing else that is kind of not actually involved in that campaign can be counted in that campaign. I'll give you a really, really, really good example. I'm going to share a screen. You're going to kind of watch me do this for a second. I have to kill camera just for a moment because my internet is dead. I don't know why, and I'm so sorry, everyone. If I look at the last 7 days compared to the previous 7 days, this one right here. Okay, do you see how our results in this campaign went down 70%?
Yeah.
All right. So check this out here. I have to turn this off and then I have to go and compare. And I have to compare the attribution settings into here, because this is actually kind of interesting. So in the last 7 days, we have 539 1-day view. In the previous 7 days, the 539 1-day view was 2,224. Now, what this means is that the people that never clicked, this is not a first click happy import. This is actually another company that does not do any edge tagging at all. So because Meta basically showed an ad to people who bought anyway, they were all here. Now you can see that we don't have anywhere near that volume, not anywhere near it. So when you take out 2,000 conversions in a week that never clicked, yeah, this actually looks horrible. So that's the reason why sometimes, like I say, the way that you track your campaigns matter. And if you're tracking your campaigns incorrectly, like this one here, we lost 2,300 sales. Oh, dear God. Now, remember 2,000, those were just simply view throughs that are returning customers that are buying through email were just simply counted here. And that's where this kind of thing panics. Now, we knew that we were going into a lull, so we started pulling back anyway. But the only problem, Ralph.
Whoop. Sorry.
There you go. No, no worries. Go ahead. I saw you talking.
I was just like flailing my hands. Can you back this up with the back end on Shopify to corroborate that? Like there wasn't actual sales going away.
No.
Yeah.
No, this was basically, it just means that when we ran an email campaign, because this is not using edge tag, is basically the same thing as this. Like you can see the website purchases and the purchases. These are just kind of both counting the same fluffy users. Right. So when Black Friday was over and all of our email campaigns stopped, Meta's like, dear Lord, everything's crashing down 76%. It's like, no, it's just that we had 2,300 email sales last week of our customers that you counted, and now you can't count them. And this is what I say, when you don't have edge tagging, my spend is actually completely disconnected from the results now. Now we're going to be updating this to edge tagging very, very soon. That's going to happen on January 1. We just didn't want to do it before Black Friday. That would have been death at this level of ad spend. And we're spending, $135K a week. We definitely don't want to just restructure our conversion tracking a week before Black Friday. So we had to go through this, but we knew this thing's going to fall off a cliff. That's not real, because these people here, these 2,000 people we lost, never actually had an ounce of spend on them anyway.
Right.
And that's why you said, hey, I'm seeing these things fall off a cliff. Yeah. And the campaigns that I also don't do edge tracking, I'm seeing the same thing, but through no use. It had nothing to do with these campaigns. This is attribution, not contribution.
Got it. Makes sense. We've got 4 minutes with a lot of questions.
Oh,
God. I want to read them off, or you want to just like rattle through them?
I'll rattle through them. Can Meta work for small niches? Yes, absolutely. I've been doing this for over 12 years. It works for everybody. I know that it is weird, but yeah, I mean, older females who want to become a nurse but want to do their online and they want to do only prerequisites. Yeah, 150 grand a month. You can get very nichey.
Yeah, very, very niche. All right.
Interdeep. All right. Tried to improve the quality score of some keywords, but they're restricted categories, hence cannot really insert them as or landing. Okay, so DKI, any recommendations? So my opinion, quality score seems to follow the conversions lately. Like if you have poor performance, I just inherit low quality score for some reason. They just like tank down and flatten it between 3 and 5. But the campaigns that have the keyword is not matching to the search term that's kind of relevant to the ad that's going to an odd landing page has 8 out of 10 because I have 16% conversion rate. So I wouldn't take quality score too much into consideration. It almost seems like that's not really too much of a thing. But if it's a restrictive category, that may be why. Honestly, when it's restrictive category, it can't really necessarily earn the volume because it's artificially capped and is going to keep you basically saying like, I'll take your money if you want poor performance, but I'm going to stick you with poor performance because you're restricted. If you can get white labeled, that's perfect. And if you need white label on a restrictive category, look at legitscript.com. They can get you white labeled with Google.
Sounds good. Okay. Next question.
All right. Yeah, I tried DKI. Yeah. Does quality score? I mean, not really. I've seen like sometimes my CPC go down like 10 cents when it goes from 3 to 10. Again, I think it's more of like I don't know. I think that your spend and your competitiveness matters more than quality score. I haven't looked at quality score in like 2 years because it just really hasn't mattered to me.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, we're not manual bidding anymore.
Yeah. We had Unbounce on for like 3 shows in perpetual traffic, and they were all about quality score. I'm like, how much is this really relevant? Well, you got the answer here from John. So there you go. There's your question and answer. Interdeep has a couple more hook rate questions here. We can get through these quick.
Yeah. So absolutely, hook rate absolutely matters. Now, if you trick somebody into watching a really cool video, we've done that a few times actually. Crazy click-through rates, 15, 16%, 8-cent clicks, but then they get to the website and they bounce and never come back. So you can trick people for a hook rate, but what that does is you spend all of your money on tricking people and your company dies. So I wouldn't really do that.
That's what I did with that that niche. Actually, we were selling gun oil. That's what we did. We made it like an Americans thing. Everyone's like, yeah, American. Like nobody bought. So yes, you can absolutely trick rate. And we had a crappy product too, but same question
that's
there. Yeah. Stefan has a question. Hook rate again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hook rate can absolutely be misleading. We had this cute dog and one of our pet wellness ads, and it just smoked everybody. 60,000 clicks for every 10,000 clicks everything else got. Hurt our company because everyone was clicking and everyone was looking at a story and everyone was commenting. It was like our click to the site, like 2%, our engagement rate, like 20, because people are like commenting, sharing, cute dog. Oh my God, so cute, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is a really adorable dog, but we got to kill it.
Yeah. Not helping.
Exactly right.
Yeah. It can be a false god. All right. So,
but it can be a false god, but Meta will still treat it as gospel, which means careful.
Good point. Good point. Absolutely. Like all of those ads, like, well, this is 10 years ago, practically like 8 years ago. Like they gobbled up all the spend. It was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're like, oh my God, our CPAs just like went berserk. It was my idea, by the way. It wasn't Molly's. All right, Ralph, you can be the John Whisperer for his post comments here. I'm just trying to keep up, trying to give as much value as possible. All right. Oh, this is from Meta. Makes sense. I think we've got just about everybody. High on ketones said it was $1,000 a day. Back to him and not duping. So
yeah, what about duping the original? Yeah, so if you dupe the campaign, now remember your creative does the targeting. Your campaign does not mean anything anymore. And Meta actually says the only time that your campaign is actually taken into consideration is with audience visual insight management, like your engaged versus your new versus your existing customers. They display that. And also your locations and basically just the campaign type. That's all the campaign does anymore. So if you say, hey, I'm going to take the creative and it's targeting Bob, I'm going to pause it and I'm going to restart it and it's going to go and target Bob. That's all it did, really, just by doing the campaigns now, unfortunately.
Well, now we know, like, we get to know all of our commenters here. Now it's Stacy. So now we know what her real name is, as opposed to Sashworth. I have a friend named Sasha, so I wasn't quite sure. Is like really blonde hair. She says she's tracking properly as well. It's commently plus leads pushed into a sheet from all sources. Interesting. I haven't heard.
Definitely the one reason why I like to use the first click copy imports in Meta is it keeps it trained on a repeatable action that only it contributed. So that's just something to kind of take into consideration there too, is you don't have to track everything in Meta, but because it's prospecting and it only can feed back to itself what it was able to identify, it's important that you give it that high quality feedback loop.
Yeah. And most importantly, show sponsored by Tier 11. Head on over to tier11.com/CD if you want help with any of this stuff, or just go to tier11.com. We do these for free, but we have to pay the bills. So head on over there. You get all this expertise. John might not be doing it specifically, but he's directing everybody on how to do it and where to do it and how and when and why and all that other stuff with our incredible creative team plus our data team. So tier11.com. Thank you for sponsoring the show.
Yeah, right. Thanks, us.
All right. So thanks, us. By the way, so we're not here next Friday. We're going to do a bonus show sometime next week, we're thinking.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, mid next week or even like late or like early next week after that or something like that. We'll kind of schedule that and get it all. I want to make sure I have enough time to get enough case study for our full new show. And it might be like, hey, it's 4 days later, but now we have like 10 new case studies. So, you know, quality over quantity.
All right. We'll figure it out for next week. Yeah. All right. Stay tuned on your socials for that announcement. And thanks everybody for joining. We will see you sometime next week.
Sounds good.
See y'all.